what to do immediately after you relapse into pornography or lust on a wider spectrum, whether it's sleeping around or looking at a woman lustfully, whatever it is that you're feeling this guilt and this shame about, regardless of what it is, the relapse happened and that is the fact. And what that means is that we cannot go back into the past and change anything. Unless you've got superpowers, which I probably bet 100% of the people watching this don't, your next decision matters way more than what just happened. Because your next decision is going to determine whether you spend the rest of the day or the rest of the week in darkness, or if you put in the action points to change that behavior and to actually get yourself back to the upward trajectory and finally beat this. Welcome back to the next episode of the Escaping Lust series. If you've just joined us, make sure to go back to the first episode. And if you've been with us from the start, make sure you've got your action step done from last episode, and let's get into it. You see, shame tells you to hide in darkness. It's the secrecy element that we mentioned earlier in the series. But hiding is exactly what allows this cycle to regain control over us. So what do? Well, we bring it to the light. We either tell an accountability partner, we put it into the community, we bring it to God, and we also speak to ourselves. We actually discuss what went on. We write it down in a journal. Because if you just put it off to the side and don't want to think about it and hide from it, well, it's just going to keep coming back. You need to face what's going on here. You need to become a man who is in control of his actions, and the only way that you can do this is by facing your actions and facing the consequences of that. So the first thing is to bring it into the light. The second thing is to actually deconstruct why it happened. What was my cue? What was my trigger? Where was I when this happened? What was the environment that I was in? How did I allow myself to get back into this? Did I not have my app blocker on? Was Safari still accessible at 10 p.m? Well, if it was, do I need that? Do I really need to access Safari at 10 p.m? From here, we move to step 3, where we look at what went wrong and how we can make the changes for next time. So the action step for this episode is that I want you to write down the 3-phase plan for what would happen if you fell back into a relapse again. And the reason that I'm saying this is because I don't want you to have this woo-woo vision of you're watching a video once and then suddenly that's it. Maybe you will. Maybe there's like 2% of the audience who might be able to do this. But for me, it took a long time to get out of this. Now, granted, I didn't have the resources, the tools, and the knowledge that I'm giving to you guys, but it is truthfully a difficult thing to escape. And that's why I'm giving you all of these frameworks and these tools so that you can actually make the improvements that are needed to change your responses. So the action before the next episode is to write down your plan for what would happen if you relapsed. In the next episode, we're going to be looking at a very key part of this whole process, which is building the identity of a man who just simply does not watch pornography and somebody who doesn't track how many days they've been clean. See you guys there.